The horror genre seems like it's getting more and more love every year, more notoriety, and more new films from independent filmmakers coming out all the time. Eli Roth has recently gone independent. This was very exciting for a lot of people because they could finally see a vision from him that was not going to be tainted by a bunch of studios. Unfortunately, that has just shined a light on how much of a degenerate person Eli Roth is. His new film coming out on August 7th is called Ice Cream Man, and a bunch of people got to see it on a Monday mystery movie last night. It was a horror edition and kind of an open secret that this would be an early screening for Ice Cream Man, so people went and saw it excited to see what it was all about. Unfortunately, it was not disclosed at the time that Eli Roth has used generative AI for some sequences in this film. Not only that, all of the critics that have come out and talked about it are saying that it's just bad. I will not be seeing this movie because I will not support a movie that has AI generated scenes in it. Let's go over to the Regal Unlimited, just the Regal website. On this website, you can find the showtimes for Ice Cream Man starting on the 6th and then a full release on the 7th. But if you look here in the details, there is absolutely nothing that indicates to anybody that this is an AI supporting movie. Okay, but this is the poster. When I saw this poster, I thought to myself, wow, that looks really, really strange. But hey, maybe AI is just broken so many people's brains that they just decided, let's just make it in a style where it kind of looks like that. This is made with AI. There are generative AI in the horror movie. He says that he misspoke, which I think is very, very convenient. Director Eli Roth has clarified that his upcoming horror film, Ice Cream Man, uses generative AI in a limited capacity. I love when they love to throw in limited capacity. Yeah, we know the whole movie wasn't AI generated. That is not the problem that we're having. Of course, that will be a problem at some point soon. This film, a grotesque horror movie about an ice cream truck driver who turns children into homicidal killers, has sparked discussions about its visual style and speculation of its use of AI. We are still at the point where we have to speculate. We can't even say for a fact because these studios and these directors are not coming out and saying it while they're doing their press release. They're hyping people up for the movie. This does seem like a pretty good premise. And then people go and see it without a single shred of an idea that there's AI in this movie, whereas a lot of people would not be watching it. A version of the film sent to early reviewers includes AI visual effects company, Dark Half in its credits. So in its credits, it's even saying, hey, this is where we're disclosing that the AI was made. That's bullshit. It should be a tag. It should be a tag on the details of Regal or AMC or wherever you watch your movies. This should have to be disclosed so that nobody goes and supports on accident an AI generated slop film, leading fans online wondering how much of the film was created using generative AI. You don't know. You will never know unless this dickhead comes out and says something about it. You are not going to find out how much of the film uses AI. So in my opinion, as someone who is very against AI in art, I like to make that very clear. I understand that the cat's out of the bag in other areas with AI, but when it comes to art, there's no reason for AI to be taking over entertainment. This is a solely human expression that should be made by humans alone, and I feel like everybody should be on board with that. If you do not go and support this movie, this shows dickheads like Eli Roth that he cannot go and use generative AI, not be forthcoming about it, and then still somehow make money. Now, I know horror fans just love to see new horror films. This is a slasher. It's very gruesome. It's very bloody from everything that I've read, and I know that there are a genre of people within the horror community that love to see that. But does it really does it really make you want to go and see it if all of the slashing and everything was not made by the visual effects team? It was just made by a prompt engineer who put in a bunch of prompts and, decided to generate all of these scenes. Here they say, Eli Roth's, this is the Hollywood Reporter, Eli Roth's small town horror flick is for die-hard slasher fans and absolutely nobody else. Well, that's basically what slasher movies are. If you're looking up the credits for Ice Cream Man on IMDb, you might as well skip past director, co-screenwriter Eli Roth. Yeah, you probably should. This guy is going down a downward spiral. The extensive cast list, the real stars of this ultra gonzo horror film are the folks in the makeup department. Really? Were the folks in the makeup department, did they help with the AI generation of the scenes? I don't really think that that's something for the makeup department to do. How big was the makeup department? Who are the people that actually, you know, said this is what it's going to look like and you are not going to touch it up with AI? Or did Steve Newburn and Adrian Marotte think that it was okay that they were going to do some sort of work with prosthetics, but then have AI come and clean it up or generate more blood? I mean, you guys got to come out and tell me. Let me know. I'm looking for more people talking about this. This is the only article that I can find that has Eli Roth saying, I have an animation background and I drew it. Roth told Polygon, I worked with an animation team and I wanted it to look and feel like there's an old Mickey Mouse cartoon where he goes into a haunted house, there's broom dancing skeletons and this kind of flowing dancing stuff, jittery, whatever. I drew the loop cycles and the styles, then I had some animators help kind of a little bit more fluid, and I worked with an artist to give it an old-timey jittery feel, but I sat there and drew out the frames that I wanted and I tried to match the style. Did you? That's very interesting that you say that. But then you say, I misspoke. AI was used in a very small portion of a few scenes in the film. What scenes? What portion? Can you tell us? It was an opportunity where technology and creativity came together to help me bring a vision for the film to life. No, 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 no. That's not how it works. When you go and do this by yourself, when you go and create this movie and say, I'm going to become an independent, right? Here we are. Eli Roth bets on himself, got stick of studio notes and shrinking residuals with Ice Cream Man. He's going into business with himself. Look at this smug little smarmy idiot. When Eli Roth was making Borderlands, he had a bunch of pushback, whatever. The studios were risk adverse, so they decided to not work with him anymore. And they did a great job. That was a smart idea, because now here he is saying, oh, well, I couldn't make the things that I wanted to make, so I just used a bunch of AI, and there we go. And you're just going to say it was used in a very small portion while being very vague. I think that that is completely unfair to us, to me, as a viewer, as someone who loves movies, someone whose thing is movies. This is my favorite thing to do, is watch movies. I do not want to watch movies that have AI involved. That is 100% my choice. That is not a cat's out of the bag. You can't do anything to solve this situation. That is the situation that we're in that we can stop. It's one of the only things that we can push back on about this whole AI whatever revolution or whatever you want to say. Roth did not specify which scenes use generative AI or how the technology was incorporated, emphasizing only that its use was limited. Polygon followed up with Roth's representatives to clarify which other scenes in Ice Cream Man use generative AI. We've reached out to Dark Half, the AI VFX firm in question. AI VFX, so adorable. Via email, but did not receive a response. We need to be demanding for this. We need to demand that the company comes out and says exactly where it was used. We need to demand that Regal tells us that this movie was made with generative AI. We need to stop hiding behind the fact that it's some BS tool or that it was just used in a very small portion. That is not fair to us as the viewer. And we are the ones with the buying power. We should be the ones that completely decide what is being made and what is not being made. It is not impressive for someone to go into a prompt and type something in, generate it AI, you know, whatever, and then claim that it is their own. The AI has been used by training on multiple different other works of art, all culminating into something else. This is plagiarism, but it's only shown in, like, you know, it's only advertised as that, no, this just created something brand new. No, it didn't. It took everything from something that it knew, stole the work, and then decided that it was going to spit out whatever nonsense that it did. I think this is disgusting. It's one of the first things that I saw this morning, and it really just confirmed to me that this area that we're going into is so important for us to be aware of, so that we do not support this dog shit and keep it out of the movie theaters. I'm calling out Regal, I'm calling out AMC, and I'm calling out anybody that makes movies. If you want to make a movie with AI, be my guest. Just fucking let me know so I can avoid it and talk shit on it until the day that I die. You know, I used to say that Eddington is the worst movie that I've ever seen, and it still is. But one day, when I eventually get duped and watch a movie that I did not know used AI, I am going to have to change my ranking and have it be whatever that film is. As long as there are no regulations, they are going to keep hiding it, and they do it for the very direct reason of making sure that you and I do not know where it's at, so that you just go and watch the movie still. I hope that Ice Cream Man flops. I hope that everyone at Regal and involved in this production is absolutely ashamed of themselves. I hope that they come out and address this situation. And I hope and pray that one day we can just get a tag, one tag that says this is made with AI, so that we do not have to watch it. If you like this video and you like movies, you like topics about movies, please like and subscribe. And that's really about it. Bye-bye now.